Hello and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alexander Lewis, and today I'll be going over a lesson plan using Smartboard technology for you. First, we'll be going over the teacher pages really quickly. The title of the Smartboard lesson is Literary Term Review by Jay Hawkins, and I found it on exchange.smarttech.com. Right there is the URL, Jay Hawkins, Literary Term Review. It's an English/language arts lesson geared towards students in the grades 9 through 12, and the lesson is exactly what the title suggests that it is, and that it is reviewing basic literary terms for students. And now that we've gone over that, let's move into the lesson itself. Let's just open that up real quick. Okay, so the lesson opens with this title page with some basic information for teachers. You got lesson objectives, teacher note, and lesson notes. Alright, so on the first slide, we get a definition of what literary terms exactly are, and a picture with a link that when you click on it, takes you to the Wikipedia page for Stephen King. Before class, I would have given the students a few key pages from Stephen King's book on writing, and at this point I would allow them to read those few pages if they hadn't already, and then write down their answers to these 4 questions right here on the back of those pages, and once they've written those down, I would allow them to discuss. Alright, so now we have our first few literary terms. And I would give the students a few minutes just to write these down, jot these down on a piece of paper or in a notebook they'll be using. And after they've written them down, I would summarize them very quickly and then pull these out. So here we have 2 tabs, and they say, can you name some famous protagonists who are found in literature, and who are some famous literary or cinematic antagonists? We would discuss the answers to these in class and use the examples from Peter Pan located here at the bottom of the page. This would open up into a link, but for some odd reason it's not working on my computer, so I'm sorry I can't open that up. Here we have 5 more literary terms to be written down. Alright, and now I'd ask 2 or 3 students to come up and use the Smartboard to organize these words into their proper columns. So what they do is they choose a word, and then they click and drag it into whatever column they think it belongs in. So, positive, negative, neutral, or informal/non-literary. If some of the students want to draw out these columns right here and, write these down and put them in their proper columns, I would give them a couple minutes to do that. Alright, so here we have 4 boxes. Alright, and these 4 boxes all together would symbolize the story of Noah from the Old Testament, because here you have a dove, a rainbow, what I'm pretty sure is a God's eye, and the Star of David, and all 4 of these together come together to the story of Noah. Alright, so if I were to click on this fish, it would open up to a about 7-minute long downloadable movie that I would play for my class, but in the interest of time for this video, I don't think I'm going to do it here. So for this, I would have my students write down 3 things they think symbolize them, but I wouldn't make them do 3 paragraphs because that's a little excessive, and they can share their answers if they want once they're done writing them down. Alright, here you have some incomplete cliches. I would invite students to come up and guess the second half of the cliche, and then remove the slide to show what that cliche really is. So you have, don't count your chickens. I'll say, Billy, why don't you come up here and tell me, what do you think the second half of don't count your chickens is? He says, before they hatch. I say, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Say, I have nothing to fear, but, and he says, panda bears. I say, oh, come on, Billy. I say, you have nothing to fear but fear itself. These are all examples of cliches, and they would go through these. It wouldn't all be one student. I'd do 2 2 or 3 of them. I would have this page printed out from the slides, and I will hand it out for homework at the end of class. And this is just really simple, just a couple of cliches up here, 3 of them, and an explanation really quickly, just about a sentence long, of what the cliches are. Alright, so now we have a quick quiz on the terms we've learned over the past couple days. I would have my students complete the quiz and hand them in, and then I would invite any student in the classroom who wants to come up and do the quiz on the smartboard itself to earn a few extra points of extra credit. So they'd come up, question 1, question 2, just like, this. And if they get it all right, I'll give them 2 or 3 extra points of extra credit on the quiz itself. Alright, so I can spread this over about 2 days, and as you might have noticed, there are 44 slides in this actual lesson, and we've only gone through 12 of them. That's because these are not lessons meant to take several days worth of class, but each one should cover about 10 or 15 minutes at the beginning of class, just to kind of warm up students and get their brains a little active towards literary terms. And basically the lesson plan repeats like this. It goes from terms to activities from those terms to a few more terms to activities for those terms, and then they do a short quiz like this one. So I hope you found this informative and that you have